I am positive that Luke Combs is going to win Album of the Year at the CMAs this year, and his new album hasn't even come out yet. But here's why. This release strategy, first of all, has been incredible. From September 30th of 2025 to the middle of March 2026, Luke Combs will be releasing music that, has received an overwhelmingly positive response. People will be talking about Luke Combs through April and May as this album continues to get a playlisting and radio push. That's roughly 8 months of conversation about Luke Combs, about 75% of the eligibility window for the CMAs. Then there's the history of this award. He has already won Album of the Year twice, in 2020 and 2022. And if you look back at the history of this category specifically, it is very common for artists to win in clusters. So that actually, happens about half the time. Since 1990, there have been 8 instances where an artist won the award at least twice within a 5-year span. So when you account for those runs, 46% of all wins in this category go to an artist who either won within the previous 5 years or will win again within the next 5. Luke Combs is obviously already in that group, with Chris Stapleton, Lainey Wilson, Eric Church, George Strait, Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks, and Miranda Lambert. And the record for most wins in this category is George Strait with 5. But I think he actually might get there at some point in his career. Luke Combs is also an incredibly uncontroversial figure, which the CMAs tend to favor. It's hard not to root for this guy. Even when the New York Times podcast guys tried to get him to sort of talk politics, he gave a very honest but completely non-polarizing answer. He is constantly reminding people how humble and just normal he is. He just seems like a genuinely cool dude who gets along with everyone, and when you're trying to win with a group of, I think it's 7,000 voters, that's really important. And then there's the competition. I don't think it's going to be incredibly strong. In late 2025, from that part of the window, I think the only real contender would be Snipe Hunter, but Tyler Childers isn't, exactly a beloved CMA figure. I don't honestly know what's going to be nominated from 2025, but there have already been great albums from 2026 so far. Johnny Blue Skies, the Zach Bryan album, and these might historically have a better critical reputation as time goes on, but unless Ella Langley blows the doors off with Dandelion or Casey Musgraves really crushes it, with Middle of Nowhere, I just think it's going to be hard for anyone to beat Luke from both a critical response and CMA darling perspective. Please tell me if I'm missing any albums that you think have a real chance. I might be completely overlooking some. But finally, I think this is just going to be a really, really good album. The singles from The Way I Am cover the entire spectrum of country music, and they are all high level, which is unsurprising.